Hey guys, Skypoint here. Now, recently someone had asked me to do a video on Horus Lupercal and the deck which I use for him. Now, Horus Lupercal is one of the oldest warlords in the game. He was one of the first Primarchs to be included, and he's actually very simple to play. There's just one really important thing you need to know about Horus. Even though he comes with a Whispers of Chaos, and when you go down and look at his Whispers of Chaos, let's see here, whoops, I have to go to the collection and all cards, and you go down there, his Whisper of Chaos looks pretty reasonable. Play 10 Chaos cards and it gets cheap enough to play, and then if you actually look at what you get out of that, you get War Master Horus, and it looks like he's really cool, right? Spend 2 energy to deal 3 damage and stun an enemy. So, looks powerful, looks like something you might want, but no. When you play Horus, you do not want to care about his reckoning at all. Because with Horus, your goal is to win on your 8 energy turn. And there's a little trick to that. Let me go over to my deck. It's called the Vengeful Spirit. So your goal as Horus is to have Vengeful Spirit in your hand by your 8 energy turn, so you can just nuke your enemy. Of course, no one has just 8 health, so you need to beat them down for that. And Horus plays as a very fast burn deck in order to do that. Let's take a look at what's involved over there. So let's start with Horus himself. So he's a Primarch, 2 attack, 40 health. And for 2 energy, his ability is just draw a card. That doesn't sound great, but it's actually really important because it makes sure that you have burn cards available to beat the enemy warlord down in almost every turn. And of course, he has high initiative, which helps him to be the first person to strike a blow. Alright, let's run through the deck. We've got 1 copy of Frag Grenade in there. It's useful in a pinch for either doing that little bit of damage to the enemy warlord or finishing off damaged enemy troops. Smoke Grenade is there to for both of its effects actually. It's a handy little stun, but more importantly it draws a card and helps you work through your deck. We've got a Melgator, so he's there to try and buy you some time by returning tough enemy troops back into their hand. Abandoned Supplies, again, helps you to work through your deck and makes whatever you draw cheaper. Second Wave is actually neat. We're going to be using a couple of troops who have the fast ability, and with Second Wave you can pull off a neat combo where you play 1 or more of those troops and then you copy them back into your hand and you can attack with them again the next turn. Grogor Squad, so that's the first of these fast troops. They go very well with Second Wave. Goldstone's Hunters, pretty much the same thing. Goldstone's Hunters have a little bit less health than Grogor Squad, so they will not survive attacking any warlord, but they do have fast, so they can skip over front lines. Murdas Squad, this one looks weak on its stats alone, with 3 attack is good for 3 energy, but 2 health is not. But they do have Drop Pod, which helps them to survive, and you want them in your deck for the Backlash ability, which is to draw a card. So you can already see with the Horus deck, between his ability and the cards we've seen, you're just cycling through your deck and trying to dig out the Vengeful Spirit. We have a pair of Chariot of the Gods. So 2 of these together in your hand is actually better than Vengeful Spirit because they cost 8 energy and do 8 damage like Vengeful Spirit does, but they draw 2 cards for you, not just 1, because each Chariot of the Gods pulls 1 card out. This is a really important card. It's very flexible. You can use it to take out difficult enemy troops, or ideally you want to drop this thing on the enemy warlord to try and burn his health down fast. The anti-stealth in this deck comes from Metal Storm rounds, so you want to stick this onto a troop which is on the board, and your fast troops like Grogor Squad and Goldstone Hunters help a lot for that, and you can do massive damage to stealth troops, so we've got a pair of these. Beyond that, we don't have too much anti-stealth because we're trying to kill the enemy quickly before stealth becomes a problem. Chondan Squad is nice. Again, relatively low health, but with Drop Pod, it requires a fair bit of effort to remove, and if your enemy does not remove it, it does a huge amount of damage with its 6 attack. So this is a great card. A pair of Felician 5th Airborne, so these are there to drop on the board, then they sort of hide and attack next turn. Voraxes are there mostly just to deal with enemy troops, try and keep the pressure off of you a little bit. Kadark Squad. I've always really enjoyed this guy. They have such a powerful cleave attack that most of the time they'll actually end up acting as a front line for you, because your enemy will be trying to make sure Kadark Squad dies as quickly as possible. Outflank, one of the best common cards in the game, instantly nuke an enemy troop. So unless the troop is invisible or has ward, Outflank will remove it from the board. A pair of Monster of Pythos, so this is just a straight up upgrade over Felician 5th Airborne. Then comes Malogurst. Now this is a bit of an optional card. Not every Horus plays Malogurst. I just find him to be pretty useful. At the very least, he's a dangerous threat who, again, the enemy has to focus on instead of you. And for his energy cost, he's actually extremely efficient. Better than average attack, better than average stealth, better than average health, and an absolutely fantastic passive ability. He's a great card. And lastly, as I mentioned, Vengeful Spirit, the most important card in this deck. Alright, so, legendary substitutions. Second wave is nice to have. You don't have to have it. The deck just does better with that. If you don't have second wave, honestly, you can put in almost anything you want. I would recommend putting in a card which has a card draw effect, such as, actually one of the new cards is great. Where's it gone down here? War Room. I think that's in it. Yeah, it's a Mechanicum card, War Room. Draw a tactic from your deck and reduce its cost by 2. Well, this deck only has 13 tactics, and hopefully it's going to pull out Vengeful Spirit and make it cheap for you. Ambassador Melgator, you can just replace with a Seek and Destroy or any other cheap damage card as well. Maybe a little more anti-stealth if you really want. Malogurst, as I said, is optional. If you don't have him, a decent substitute is going to be probably the Valot Predator. It'll deal 3 damage to the enemy when it goes in play. And the one legendary which you need in order to make an effective nuking Horus deck is Vengeful Spirit. If you don't have Vengeful Spirit, it's very hard to make this work. Alright, so that's the deck. Now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the great matches I've had with it. First up is Vulcan. So this is not a bad set of cards to start with. Turn 1, I can use my Horus Energy ability to draw a card. Turn 2, Merdas Squad and attack with Horus. And then the following turn, Vorax to deal with any troops. Let's go.
The stars are our birthright. So come.
There we go, I drew a card. I got Outflank, that's very useful. Okay, so he's dropped a kind of irritating troop over here. Every time it attacks me, it's going to be doing bonus damage to me. So that's fine. We're going to drop Merdas Squad and hit that troop once. Okay, Vulcan pops the drop pod. And is he going for the troop? Yeah, he went for the troop. Alright. And here comes the bonus damage to me. So I'm currently... I've lost 7 points of health. He's lost 2 and he has Survivors. I'm quite far behind him.
That was well done indeed.
Okay, let's drop the Felician 5th Airborne because it's a pretty quiet moment right now. And I just attack him. Usually with Horus you want to be attacking with your warlord because you want to make sure that he's low enough on health to kill when Vengeful Spirit comes out. Okay, he's just trying to make sure my board stays clear. Let's pull out Chariot of the Gods, whack him down hard. And that draws a card for me. And I'm going to sit on the frag grenade until I need it. Let's not throw it out yet. Eee, look at that guy. Alright. Let's do this. We have to take out that guy before he heals, because Nemron Fire Axe, if it dies while attacking, heals 3. So there's a frag grenade. And lastly, we attack Nemron and take him out. So now we're both on 22 health, although he has Survivor. Storm Eagle, that's a good move on me. He stunned me, so I cannot just casually draw a bonus card next turn. Orbital Combat, so he's making my tactics more expensive. And he's generating a troop. 7 energy. We're going to drop Murdas Squad. And Grogar Squad for now. And hit him. He's trying to take out the drop pod for some reason. Let's see. Okay, he takes out Murdas Squad. Okay, that's good. A Chondon Squad is helpful. Oh, and there you go. He has an informant network for taking that guy down. Alright, 19 health. We're going to drop Monster of Pythos and use Second Wave to actually create a copy of that so I can play it again next turn and attack him. He hits me and he drops a really tough guy. Alright, so this sounds like a good time to use one of those outflanks of mine. And with that thing gone, we can now bring out Chondon Squad. And we need to attack with a monster. Okay, this is good. In total, he's got 14 points of health. I'm on 13. He breaks open the drop pod again. And brings out Volcanic Instability. That goes ahead and deals a bunch of damage to us. And there's a frontline tough troop. Alright, let's bring in Malogurst. And we're going to use Smoke Grenade to stun Vulcan. No creating teachings for him this turn. He goes ahead and he hits Malogurst. And now he uses Ashen Bones to kill Malogurst, but that has a neat effect. Malogurst's passive still triggers and I get my own copy of Ashen Bones. He goes ahead and heals his front line. Alright, so now I'm going to bring in Goldstone's Hunters. I'm going to give them the Metal Storm rounds. And go ahead and hit Vulcan, and Metal Storm will take out the tough troop beside him. Pull in Abandoned Supplies. What do I get? Okay, I get a cheap outflank. That'll be useful. And just attack Vulcan one more time. I'm on 8 health. He's got 9 in total. Ooh, Forge Father to kill. Well, it's a good thing I had that outflank. So let's use that to burn him. And with the discount on that, I can still drop the Monster of Pythos. I'm not attacking him directly because if he was only on 2 health, he could have attacked me and triggered his Reckoning. Alright, so he's just creating another unit. And there's Nemron Phylex again. Okay, have a Vorak. So let's use the Smoke Grenade to again stun Vulcan. We're going to use Monster of Pythos again. And now drop Melgator and send Nemron Phylex back to his hand. Start softening up his troops and make sure he's got no board presence anymore. So next turn I have him.
So, how do you think it's going so far?
You make me proud.
He uses Ashen Bones to finish off one of them. That's his final hard removal gone. Now he's using Nocturne Born just to build up enough Survivor to make it through what comes next. There we go. He actually did a good job. He kept a lot of pressure on me and I wasn't able to use Horus's ability that regularly, which is why I'm left with fewer cards than he does. Okay, here we go. We drew Felician, Airborne. So let's go ahead and just drop them onto the board. Running really low on health now. So I did not actually attack or attack him because I don't want him to be triggering his reckoning yet. And that's it, it's over. Even though his reckoning is triggered. And watch as he activates it. There we go. So he has 3 health and 8. 8 health with 3 survivor, but that's just not enough for this. So attack him, bring in Grogor squad to take him down, not that I needed to, and then lastly hit him with the final unit, the Monster Pythos, and he is down. Alright, so that one lasted a bit longer than Horus would normally like, but games against Vulcan can go longer, but I just kept focusing on nuking him as much as I could there. Next up, we're facing Corvus Corax. So over here, again, this is a good set of cards. I've got stuff for my first, second, and third turn, so I'm just accepting all of that. Abandoned Supplies is of course a straight upgrade on Horus's ability because it costs 2 energy, draws a card, and reduces the cost of that card by 2. So let's use Abandoned Supplies, and we're pulling out a cheap smoke grenade. Perfect. Let's hit Corax, and then we're going to go ahead and stun him just to help me draw more cards. Okay, Grogor squad. Great. Another fast unit. I like that. He brings in a little troop of his own, dealing some damage to me. Comes back to my turn. So what I'm actually going to do here is bring in Murdas squad, and I'm going to knock out his troop. And that's keeping Grogor and Goldstones in my hand in case I need to react to something later on. Okay, that's not good. He's got a sentencing unit on the board. There we go, that's Vengeful Spirit. I'll need that to finish him. I'll go ahead and attack him with the Murdas squad. Get a frag grenade, that's not bad. Let's put Chondan squad down next. And attack him over there. Oh, that's not good. He's using Remembrance Order, so he's copying my last tactic. So he's just throwing the smoke grenade right back on my guy. Gives me sentence and attacks me, so I'm currently sitting on 4 points of health behind my enemy. Okay, great, another Goldstone, so plenty of fast troops for me there. Let's bring in Grogor squad for now. We're going to go and attack him. This was a bit of a silly move by me because now Corax can just go invisible next turn very easily. There we go, he takes out my Chondor squad, or whatever, I can't remember the name anymore, it's dead, and he goes invisible. So I'm using my Horus ability. Oh, that's good, I got a smoke grenade. So let's drop the smoke grenade on that speeder, which means it cannot do anything to me this turn. And that's it, ending the turn. I'm not dropping my units because I didn't really want to use them on him yet. So he's going to bring in a unit with fast next turn. What will it be? Okay, he's hitting me pretty hard right now. 4-point health gap, and he's got a 4-2 unit with sneak attack. Let's drop another one of those guys, and now we bring in Grogor squad, and we use Grogor squad to take out his troop. And then I attack Corax again because I need to take out 16 more points of health before I can use Vengeful Spirit on him. Okay, he's bringing in a sneaky troop. Uses sentencing. And he takes that out. Okay, he didn't use up all his remaining energy, which was interesting. Let's drop Chariot of the Gods on him. 4 points of damage, so now we're even. Bring in a Felician 5th Airborne and attack his sneaky troop so that, well, it doesn't keep sneak attacking me. Okay, there's his own speeder, and he's probably... Is he about to take out my guy? Oh, that's clever. Look at that. He's bringing in units to hit me. And this way, his speeder is still going to be alive to hit me hard next turn. Well, we can't be having that. So we bring in Goldstones. We drop the Metal Storm rounds on it. And now we go straight for Corax, which wipes out the units on each side. And then I can just attack that speeder bike. Let's leave it at that. Ooh, more Dathan has hit the board. That's not looking great. Okay, there we go, that's nice. A monster of Pythos, Felician 5th Airborne, and a monster of Pythos. And I'm just hoping I can survive this next turn. Informant network. Okay, is he going after my troops? I thought if he went after me, he might have won. Yeah, he is going after my troops there. He gives those guys sentence, and then he uses Corax's ability on them, which means he goes invisible. Then attacks me with his one troop. Alright. Next up, we are going to drop the frag grenade to kill his troop. Perfect. We're going to bring out Malagurst. And now we're going to just use my Horus... Okay, I could have actually used my Horus ability. I don't know why I didn't. Okay, see, he hits me hard. Okay, he uses Deliverance though, and so now he's set himself up to win next turn. Except, Malagurst copied Deliverance. And now he's doomed himself. I give myself Stealth and heal 2 until the next turn.
Well done.
And I also, for good measure, copy Malagurst with second wave. And that's it.
So, how do you think it's going to?
And now, with Malagurst next turn and Vengeful Spirit, I'll be able to win. So, there we go. I like the alt art version of Horus because of his voice lines. Especially the, so, how do you think it's going so far voice line. There we go, 16 points of damage onto Corax in the last turn, and it's over. The last fight today with Horus is going to be against Kabandha. So I'm putting away the cards because I don't have anything for my second turn. That's not much better.
Our birthright.
Alright, let's use my Horus ability, and I pulled out a 4 energy cost unit. That still doesn't solve my second turn problem. Luckily, it looks as though he wasn't playing a unit yet either. There's Activate Horus. Drew second wave. That's a nice card, I like that. Okay, here we go. A Plague Bearer. Gonna have to take that thing out, so the way I'm gonna do this is bring in Chandak Squad. So if he uses the Plague Bearer to attack that, it's gonna die. Okay, he's making a copy of the Plague Bearer. Pops open the drop pod. Interesting! He hit it with Kabandha and took the 6 points of damage to try and get mutations. Alright. Well, now I bring out Vorax, and I can use Vorax to hit the first Plague Bearer. And now I messed up slightly. I should have used the frag grenade first, because then he wouldn't have gotten a free mutation out of it. But whatever. What's done is done. I am now 3 points ahead of him on health. His 5 energy turn sees Poxbringer hit the board, and he starts to use some of those mutations he had. He's given it more health and made it poisonous. However, it did nothing for its attack, so Melgator can still bounce that thing back. And that means I can drop one more Chandak Squad and continue to attack him with Horus.
So, how do you think it's going so far?
I love using that chat line. Alright, there we go. Demonette, so 0 cost 2 health unit. No, 4 cost 2 health unit, which is now buffing. He's making that thing pretty powerful. So, what are we going to do here? Alright, let's attack Kabandha. And we're going to bring in Malagurst, so force him to try to hit Malagurst with that and not my warlord. He's down to 14 health. It's getting close, very close. There we go, so he hits my Chandak Squad, which causes splash damage on Malagurst. Oh, he brings in a Seekers of Slaanesh and uses that to actually kill Malagurst. That's a great move by him. Continues to hit me. Alright, what are we going to do now? Let's do this. We're going to drop Grolgor Squad. drop Goldstone's Hunters. Now pull out second wave, which is going to copy all 3 of my troops and put them back in my hand. And, well, whatever. We're just going to go ahead, take out his Seekers of Slaanesh, and now use Goldstone's Hunters to hit him. Now he's on 7 health. He has to attack me because he has Berserk, which means he's going to go down to 5 health, and I have 2 units with fast waiting. There you go. He's trying to copy that up to get some extra healing out, but it's too little, too late, because Grogor Squad and Goldstones were still in my hand. So,
Have you ever known me to lose a fight?
at this point, I can just drop Grogor Squad and attack him, and then I could just attack him directly with my warlord and win. Alright, so that's my little guide to Horus Lupercal. Basically, forget about his reckoning. It needs you to include Chaos Squads in Chaos Troops or cards in your deck, and frankly, Horus, through the Sons of Horus deck, actually gets access to some of the very best units in the game, units and tactics in the game, which for doing direct damage to the enemy, and so just embrace that. Pack your deck with units with fast and tactics which will do damage to the enemy warlord, and just go to town on him. Alright, hope you guys found this fun, hope you found it useful. Stay tuned, I will have more videos coming this week, and hopefully a live stream on the weekend. Alright, until then, bye for now everyone.